Hello, everyone. My name is Fiberesima, and I'm so excited to be here today. If there's one thing that I'm so stoked about doing is creating community-driven experiences for brands, and I'm currently doing that at Groove Tickets. So today we're going to be analyzing how a once thriving, bubbling community failed, and the question is, what could have gone wrong? What happened? So it's important that I say this, that there is no community out there where everything is a great success or a total failure. Most of the times, things are just floating in between both ends. And as a community manager slash builder, what you should try to do is to find how you can maintain that balance in between. So I read a book, and I'll never forget the name of the author because the book was an interesting read. It was written by Otto Conan-Doyle, and in that book, something intriguing happened. Sherlock Holmes solves a crime by paying attention to what did not happen. The family dog had not barked, and it meant that the murderer had to be someone that the family knew. What this story illustrates is how an average community builder does not pay attention to what we call negative cues in the community. So these are signals that contribute to an unhealthy environment within the community and ends up stifling the community's ability to grow. So I'm going to give an example. So for example, you have Mr. A, who used to be one of your 1% engager in your community, and all of a sudden he stops engaging. An average community builder will just not want to reach out to know what happened because we've been taught so much to focus on what's working. But then we forget that in order for us to solve a problem, you have to find out what that problem is before you can solve it. So the name of the community we're going to be analyzing today is going to be called the Eden Community. And this is a community for business entrepreneurs. And this was the very first community that I joined when I started my journey into entrepreneurship. So because I have a few minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and list out what this community did wrong and what they would have done right in order to address these situations, right? And it's also important that I say this because before every community fails, there are what we call, like I said, negative cues, right? These are signals that are often overlooked. So, for example, there was decline in engagement, right? The community atmosphere became very toxic. There was poor communication, and these were things that if they had really looked into it, they would have been able to provide solutions to it. So this Eden community, what were the things they did wrong? First of all, there was no structure. The clear purpose was not communicated. And I feel like this is where a lot of people get it wrong when it comes to community building. They just want to start a community because that is what is basically trending. But you have to understand that before you start a community, you want to be able to validate the demand for that community, because most of the times we have good ideas, but then when we put it into market, we'll find out that that idea is not really sellable, it's not really profitable. So even the Bible says, write the vision down, make it plain. So you have to be able to identify a clear purpose for your community. Why are you starting this community? The second thing that I also noticed was there was no variety in terms of the programs that were being done, right? So for every month, we would attend what we call monthly meetups. And we kept on doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So when you're designing community programs, you want to be sure that you reach out for feedback to members of a community, and at every point in time, make sure that there is a variety in terms of what you are designing for your members, because you're not just designing for yourself, you're designing for people. So you have to be able to put those people into consideration. The third thing that I also noticed was there was poor communication. So this leads me to the second thing that I said, right? This is where a lot of community builders get it wrong. So in that community, what was basically happening was they were reaching out to just a few people who they felt were like the popular guys in the community, forgetting that the community was made up of both people that were not popular and people that were popular. So they were just reaching out to the popular guys in the community. So this leads me back to what I said earlier on. You want to be able to gather feedback from everybody within your community. So the fourth thing was poor member retention. You want to ensure that as people are leaving your community, you're reaching out to them and trying to gather feedback to know, okay, what did we do wrong? Why are you leaving this community? And then use those feedback as a platform for you to improve on your community strategies. Because basically, as a community builder, I feel like community is all about experimentation. You try this, it does not work, you try something else, right? Then I'm just going to list out a few things because I think I have like a minute remaining. So let's just go over to strategies for building a sustainable community. Like I said earlier on, the first thing you want to do is to be able to validate the demand. And in validating the demand, you want to take into consideration the size of your target market, the level of your existing competition, and the target market level of passion. These are the three things you have to take into consideration when you're building your community. The second thing you want to do is to empower community members. Empower community members, really important. Okay, I think it's time to round up. So I'm just going to leave with this statement, right? That community is a big investment and it's something that takes time. It's something that you should not just rush into, something that you should really take your time and build on. Thank you guys so much for coming to listen to my talk. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.